What is up guys, it's Shams here with a new video. Today I'm down at BeanieSport in Milton Keynes / Newport, and today we are just going to be doing what you're meant to go over when you're servicing your Renault or just Renault Sport. Now Chris was kind enough to invite me down here to go over my car, so yeah, it should be a great video. Obviously I'll leave all of the links to where this place is and down in the description below. So without further ado, let's get into it.
First off, we've got a normal little service sheet. This is only a generic service sheet, it's not specific to 197s or anything like that, but it just reminds us everything that's worth checking on them. So, obviously, because I get grubby hands all over it otherwise, so you have to excuse my dreadful handwriting.
That's alright, it's alright.
Is it an F1?
Nope.
No, it's not an F1.
Normal 197.
Door looks okay. They'd normally been hit here. That's fairly standard that they take a whack there. Yeah, quarter's been painted before. It's full of filler right across there. You see, if you crouch down, if I use my torch, can you see like the sanding marks in the paint there?
Yeah.
That's generally the flatting of filler underneath, or the filler cap doesn't fit, which is strange. Yeah, look, if you look around there at the way the paint edges and how someone's had a good savaging to try and get the filler neck out the way. They've painted over your screws and everything like that, so it's had a little bit of action in its time, but then it's an older car, it's gonna, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rear bumper's been painted as well, so it's had a little tap up the arse at some point. But overall, your GT lights are full of water as well, so they possibly need resealing.
This car's been through hell.
It's like, I wouldn't say it's been through hell. I mean, it's what is it? 12 years old, something like that. It's worth a look anyway. With all the seatbelts all the way out, make sure there's no fraying in them, no damage.
Yeah.
Make sure they clip out, clip in okay.
Checking all the seatbelts.
The roof, obviously. Move your big suitcase.
I got to drive with tools because this car's unpredictable.
Sorry?
I got to drive with tools.
Tools, is it?
Yeah,
oh,
toolbox.
Right, okay. Yeah, it's not very nice. Someone's McDonald's chips are in there. Or yeah, belt's pretty good. Clip in and out, all right. Great. Here is £70 an hour plus that. And you're paying for the time that we go around and check everything over, make sure it's all right. But yeah, your belts. What is that? Change. Yeah, it's had a cord. It's had quite a. Yeah, if you see there. Oh, sorry, restart. I did mean to. Yeah, if you look there, that seems not right. That's been disturbed. Something has happened round here. I don't know what. It's full of body shop dust in there. The bottom half. That isn't the original welding. There's cracks that's been hammered and chiseled around there. There's a paint edge where the door rubber's not been on. So it's had some sort of repair there, and when they've done it, they've obviously burnt the seatbelt as well. So I don't think it looks like it's compromised the seatbelt, but yeah, it's seen some action. I mean, you can see around there, that's all made of filler and mush. What about the roof? Is the roof any good? The roof's all right.
At least it wasn't upside
down.
down.
Yeah, we'll keep the roof. That'll be fine. But yeah, I'll put driver's seatbelt burn, but I wouldn't say it's affected it.
Mm.
It's That's okay, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gone through. No, it's just a bit singed from whatever was going on with that quarter panel. This doesn't just turn into a picking your car to pieces.
No.
Two of those.
Yep.
Two of those.
Yep.
Two of those.
Yep. 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 Nice and lucky.
I think you said you played these the other day, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're not going to have a fog light on this, are you?
Nah.
No. So, side lights and number plate lights. Oh, look at the number plate lights, they're snazzy, aren't they? Stop lights, 3 on.
Yep.
Hazards are on, indicators are all nice and orange.
Yep.
Reverse light, we do have the fog lighting actually.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. Washing wipers.
Yep.
And the horn.
Yep.
Very, very well. Just go around and lubricate all the door hinges, all the door catches. This stuff goes on super thin, like WD-40, but then when it gets in there, it kind of turns into almost a grease and just keeps everything lubed up for another year or so. So, oh, got one. Is there any weird overspray in there? A little bit, but nothing too major. I like the spoiler.
Thank you. To me, 6 months to find.
Did you really?
Yep.
That's a genuine one, I take it.
Yep.
I'll try and get that in there without dripping it all over my floor.
No, I was trying to get into the boot. I couldn't get into the boot, so I had to climb through the back.
Close. Is that closed? Your tailgate's nowhere near where it should be. I mean, obviously you can see the quarter panel past that side,
Yeah.
and then if you look at this side, it's overlapping the quarter panel there, and you could pretty much walk in through that gap. So, and it's not closing properly.
Do you know what could be the reason for that?
I think your rear panel's probably all stoked in. So I'm wondering if maybe this filler is to do with the fact that the hit up the arse has flared the quarter panel slightly, and this is perhaps kinked. Don't know, but overall the filler cap is fairly, check the seal, check it's all safe and nothing hanging out of it, nothing weird. It looks okay. I'll put a yes on that. Just generally keeps them from rutting and. Actually keep them clean.
So this stops corrosion.
Yeah, just generally keeps them in good condition.
Okay, cool. That's nice.
Talk about main springs. Springs are obviously fairly new. Check the dampers, make sure they've not got any leaks. I mean, you don't get oil and rust in the same place, so that doesn't look to be leaking. A little bit greasy on the shaft, but nothing more than you would sort of expect, really. On Clio's 197s and 200s, it's fairly critical to give them a wiggle on that wheel. There's a bit of play in something there. You can see that, just that little shake there. Because they have a load of ball joints in the front suspension, and they wear out pretty easily. Your pads are about 40-50% worn, not too bad, about half left. This side. This side the pads are a bit lower actually. Oh no, still no, much the same actually. That damper look alright. Can't really tell, it's pretty rusty. But it doesn't look to be drowned in oil or anything like that. Again, give it the wiggle. Helps give it a look at the sides of the wheel and just bounce it back and forth. You can see that movement there.
Yeah.
Yeah, your inner track rod's got a bit of play in it. Just like if I can just wedge my thumb there and there. If you just squeeze the... You go? Yeah. Right, so what you do, if you come under here, so what you do is you see that... Yeah, bring your camera if you want. got away lightly is that ball joint there, and sometimes this lower one, but that's a lot less. But what you do have a slight problem with is you see this dent I've put in your steering rack gaiter.
Yeah.
If you push your thumb into there, you'll feel the ball joint for the steering rack. Push it as far that way as you can. You'll feel the ball joint for the steering track rod.
Yeah.
And then if I move that, you'll feel that it's...
Yeah, I can feel it knocking a bit.
Yeah, so that's just got a bit of play in it. So that needs a little looking at in the future. You've got quite a substantial oil leak from absolutely everywhere as far as I can tell.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Your exhaust flexes look fine. Your exhaust has been quite heavily welded up top. I should imagine you're whistling.
Yeah.
If you look, the welding's pretty terrible. I should imagine one or two of them have got a pinhole or a crack around them somewhere. Pipe, and it's coming from up there. All this white condensation is coolant that's dried out because of heat. So it looks fairly likely that it's coming from the top radiator hose. They tend to swell a little bit when they get corrosion underneath them. So I think it's probably leaking from there. The radiator doesn't look to have any particularly wet patches on either corner or anything like that. So I would say we'll have another look at the top hose in a minute, just to see what's going on there. So what I do want to know though is why one wheel is so much further forwards than the other. But I can't see whether it is or not. Okay, we'll come back to that in a moment. Next thing is to check brake pipes and things like that. Check tyres, CV boots, drop links. See if the suspension drop links they look okay. And the other one. So what you do is you pull the anti-roll bar up and down, and you'll normally feel them if they're... The anti-roll bar bushes are creaking a bit, but nothing major.
Okay.
Nothing to get excited about. Torsion links look... Hold on, that's a little lever. That they feel fine. That they feel fine. Brake pipes are in good condition. Right, get back to my sheet. See where we're up to. Right, condition and security of the exhaust, Nick. What's the exhaust look like? It's a bag of old scaffolding.
It's a bit
It's a bit dubious, is it?
it needs a bit of love. The exhaust paste is a bit
Wow!
yeah, it's blowing a bit.
That's liberal, that is. That's a lot. What happened there? This isn't doing anything. This is...
The guy tried to fix it on MOT day.
Oh, okay.
And he tried to...
I did see that it had an exhaust blow on the MOT.
He tried his best, but
It's an effort.
I don't know if it can be saved. Because when I start it...
It's not attached to anything.
No.
Has it fallen off, essentially? There's a Jubilee clip hanging around it up here. That's quite strange.
Oh, that's my exhaust tip.
Oh, okay.
That
This Jubilee clip isn't doing anything.
yeah.
Oh, the exhaust tip is free floating. That's only stuck on by the bumper, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
The diffuser, I think.
I'll leave that down to you. Right.
But yeah.
Back, check the rear brake. You're very lucky, actually. Your handbrake cable seems to be working correctly. You've got a broken rear spring. Have you got a broken rear spring, or is that just the plastic covers come off, come adrift? Damper looks nice and clean. Important on clear 197s and 200s is to make sure that that's the handbrake mechanism there. Handbrake on, handbrake off. That cable pulls the handbrake. They quite often don't return, and that will still be stuck up here somewhere, but yours both look to be really good.
Okay.
So at least you've won the game on that one. Yours got the little extra spring on this side, which some people fit. I take it it's not always returned. Discs are brand new. Pads look pretty good. Brake pipes, check the brake pipe. Right. So you've got a bit of corrosion on the brake pipe there. I'm not going to poke it and prod it because I don't want you stuck here all weekend because your brake pipe snapped, but this brake pipe's not in the best of condition. There's a bit of corrosion there. They normally go where the clip is. The clip rubs the coating off of them, and they start to, then they sort of bare metal, aren't they? So perhaps keep an eye on that, because it's all right because you're always under here. Have a nosy at that every so often, just to make sure if it starts to look damp, then panic.
Okay.
Handbrake cables come unclip. Magic.
What's this box here?
That is the carbon canister. That is basically you can't just vent like your fuel tank. Obviously, gives off vapor. You can't just vent that to the atmosphere, so it goes through this and it kind of filters it so as it doesn't just go direct into the ozone layer.
Okay.
Brake pipe's looking fairly reasonable condition. Nothing too scary there. Electrical item on the brake, on the clutch line.
Yeah.
That's leaking quite a lot. So that's something that needs looking into.
So would that mean like my clutch needs to be changed or my
No, you can just change that or replace it with just a couple of kits. What they do is on the inside there, that acts as a brake. That knurling grabs the gear as it's pushed down, and all that happens is that wears off. So the Syncro simply pushes down, and it doesn't. The gear is spinning inside it, and as you push that down, it's supposed to slow it down, and then they work together. All that happens is that wears away, and it just simply continues to spin as it goes up and down.
Okay.
They're only about 35 quid each, but obviously they're in the middle of the gearbox, so you have to take the gearbox out, take it apart, and so on and so forth. I haven't got any gears or anything like that, because they don't really fit in section. But no, they look pretty good. That looks good. That looks good. Like you say, they're brand new. There's not that much to check really. We'll do the tread in a moment, and then we'll do the tyre pressures. Yeah, looks fine. Showering myself with dust and debris there. Okay, splendid. So I'll put those all down as very good. Where your coolant's going. Why it's ending up on the bottom of the gearbox, which obviously is not where it belongs. So whip that out the way. Oh, look, you can see that's coolant. All of that is coolant. So we're in the right area. It's spraying out from somewhere here. Ordinarily, you would go with this pipe here. Yeah, look, you can see the spray pattern there. It's gone straight down there. So what you would normally need to do in that case is, which we're not going to do today, I haven't really got the time, is you take that hose off, and what you'll normally find is the end of this aluminium housing has got coolant built up on it and crystallised, and it's obviously forced the hose off a little bit.
Yeah.
So all you need to do is scrape it off with a razor blade, then get a piece of sandpaper and just go back and forth around it until it's all back to the right shape. If you're not feeling very confident, a little smear of sealer, pop the hose back on, and then top the coolant back up. But as you can see, all those dots, everything like that is all just coolant basically spraying. In fact, as you can see, the coolant is spraying backwards from there. So it's that hose firing it out backwards that way. So that's okay. The oil leak's very difficult to see. It is coming out up here. That bolt there is normally a bit of a little oil leak that they have, but it's very difficult to see. I'd probably advise that you got the belts done fairly soon, because you don't know when they were done. Yeah. And especially if you had a camshaft fault at some point. I'll stop sniffing it, it's dreadful. But yeah, so that's a little project for you, is to have a look at where the coolant, what's happened to that top hose and why it's spraying water out. I think you can feel on the bottom it's a little bit slack. If you run your finger around the bottom of it, you'll feel that where it sort of ends, it's a bit loose. It's not very tight on there. So that needs a looking at. Otherwise, it's all right. We'll have a little look at the back in a minute to see if we can work out what happened to it, or why it's all sorts of funny shapes.
Okay, I'm looking a bit rough, but we are back home, and I'm gonna go over the service sheet and talk about what my car is saying basically. Alright, cool. So you don't need to know this information at the top left. But overall, I checked vehicle history, checked time checked. Everything here was checked. Accordingly, everything was checked. I ain't got the lock and wheel nut because I got wheel spacers on, so unfortunately, yeah. And then yeah, good tires are good, 35 psi. Pads and shoes 50% on the front, about 15% on the back, because I got new rear disc and pads, so that's why that's looking a bit low. And comments, so I need to get a new timing belt. You know the cam belt that's in the thing. I need to get a new one because obviously I don't know the history of it when it was changed, so it only makes sense to get it changed ASAP just in case. Yeah, so driver's seat belt was burned. That's due to them repairing a part of the car. Yeah, surprise, my car's a Cat D. Lovely. Coolant leak. So I got coolant leak fucking everywhere. Brake fluid was a bit low because my brake fluid is fucking leaking. I ain't got no dipstick. Don't ask me what that is. So some work around exhaust. Exhaust was a bit blurry. That got fixed, thank God. Clutch dampener leaking. So we need to get that fixed. That is the problem with the brake fluid being very low. Gearbox oil condition poor. Yeah, it looks a bit shit because my 3rd and 4th Syncro is fucked, so all them bits are just bouncing around in the gearbox. Not really good. Needs to get that changed. I've got a bit of play on my track rod. Okay, so on my front I got front apex springs, and I've got rear cup springs on the back. Top near side rubber missing. Yeah, so I got a rubber missing on the what's it called, on the rear driver side spring and near rear side as well. So yeah, so all of this is content, and this is videos which I'm gonna be making on. Also, I'm gonna be sticking with BeanieSport for now because they are absolutely fucking fantastic and they got some great work going on around there. I'm gonna get my gearbox rebuilt and my clutch done by them. You can't beat the price what they're giving you. So yeah, I'm basically just gonna be chilling with them because I'm always up and down Milton Keynes, so it only makes sense to just stay in that area. And yeah, shout out to Chris for inviting me down and having my car checked. I really appreciate it. So this video was basically for the people that was shouting at me, saying, giving me a bollocking basically on Facebook, saying, oh, that's not a full service. A full service is when you do all your checks and you didn't check all of these, you only changed the oil. So yeah, shout out to Chris for clearing this up. Really appreciate it. And so with that being said, it's been your boy Shamsi signing out. Peace.